There's nothing better than actually being in here this close to such a large snake. And she's so perfect. You're in a good mood, right, babe? I think she might be hungry. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Kenan here. It has been a long, hot day. I had a bike accident. Oh man, it was pretty rough. I went down pretty hard on my side, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. I've been building enclosures, it's warm, and I thought, you know what, let's pull out our girl, Buttercup, and get her some exercise. I just want to relax the rest of the day, and she hasn't been out in a while, and I just wanted to get her out here. You guys haven't seen her, so today we're gonna hang out with Buttercup, and we're gonna make sure she's having a good time in the recreation pond. So if you guys are new to the channel, I hope you enjoy this video, and if you guys are not new to the channel, welcome back, Buttercup, everybody. Very cool. See you in a minute. Now, Buttercup has been with me for about 8 years now, and I got her from a gentleman who was getting on in age, and he wasn't really able to take care of her or lift her anymore. She's about 10 years old, and she has grown to be quite a large Burmese Python. It looks like she's got a little bamboo leaf covering her eye. Let's help her out, man. Hey, girl, I'm gonna come over here and get this bamboo leaf off you so you can see, bub. Now, cool thing about snakes is, in addition to their eyes, they also have that forked tongue, which is a chemical receptor. It's picking up particles from the air, and it's being put into their Jacobson's organ so they can totally understand their environment. They also have, as far as these pythons are concerned, they have what's called labial pits, which are heat-seeking organs just above the top lip. And that enables them to sense out warm-blooded prey like birds and some mammals. These guys are native to Southeast Asia, and if you haven't been living under a rock for the last 25 years, you know that South Florida is home to a feral population of wild Burmese pythons that were once part of the food trade, pet trade, and now they have established themselves in South Florida. And there's many different removal programs out there where they have hunters come out and they get these snakes out of the environment, but there are so many that they most likely will never be able to completely get those snakes out of the environment. They're an extremely adaptable species, as we've seen here in South Florida, and these guys love to be around water, which makes it very easy for them to colonize this state because, as you know, Florida has a lot of water, a lot of swampland. The Everglades are a very large river of grass, and it's a very important ecosystem here. It's the most unique place on Earth, and certainly in the United States. And so these guys are definitely causing disruptions to the native wildlife. Now, this is an albino, obviously. For those of you who don't know much about morphs, this animal was first produced here in the United States by a guy named Bob Clark. And basically, since then, the animals have been mass produced. So many different Burmese pythons and other morphs. The albinos are not that uncommon any longer. And basically, you can get one for just around $100. Now, here in Florida, you're not allowed to own a Burmese python as a pet any longer. The only people that can have them are educational facilities like myself, and of course, anyone doing any kind of education or zoo or display, but they cannot be bred for pets any longer. So it's important that we make sure we have the proper permitting, and I would highly recommend not getting a large snake like this as a pet. It is definitely an animal that can hurt you if it is not tamed, and it is something that only the most experienced keepers should keep. Now, like I said, she's been with me for about 8 years, and this animal has been raised up by hand, so she's actually a really, really good animal. What do you say we get her back in the pond and have a look at her swimming around? Now, we got the noodle back in the pond. She is swimming just awesome. Look at how she swims. What a gal. I love getting her out here because it's fun to give her some exercise and make sure that she's happy. Because by law, I have to keep her indoors, and I haven't built the new cage yet. So I like to get her out here so she can get some exercise. We can really see just how long she is. Check this out. Man, woo! Buttercup is every bit of 14 feet nowadays. She has definitely grown. I think she likes the way it feels to have this water from the waterfall just running across her body. So it's a really cool spot for her to hang out. Again, guys, love being close to this animal. She's been just such an amazing ambassador here for Kamp Kenan, just teaching people about giant pythons. There she goes. Wonder where she's gonna go next. I love watching her move through the weeds and the different foliage here. She almost kind of blends into that elephant ear a little bit. But of course, her being an albino, she wouldn't have made it too very far if she were born in the wild. As a young snake, she probably would have been picked off by some kind of predator. Female Burmese pythons can lay somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 eggs, and the babies are actually very vulnerable. And most of the babies get picked off by predators in the wild, and that's true of most reptiles. We've talked about it before. Reptiles, most of them, lay a lot of eggs because it ensures that at least a percentage of the babies will make it to reproductive age, and the other babies wind up being food for a plethora of different animals out there. So they really are animals that take care of the ecosystem. They're going to eat animals that are a nuisance to human beings, but here in Florida, these guys have become a little bit of a nuisance themselves. They're eating our native animals and competing rather with our top reptile predator, the alligator. And interactions between Burmese pythons and alligators are not uncommon here in South Florida. Another really cool thing about snakes, for those of you who don't know, I know a lot of you guys that watch the channel are reptile enthusiasts and experts yourselves, but you never know who's going to be watching. So one of the other myths about snakes is that they dislocate their jaws in order to swallow large prey. And that's not true. They just have extremely flexible skulls that have ligaments in the front part of the jaw and then the back, which allows them, actually in the lower part of the front jaw, they have a really good and flexible ligament, and that allows them to stretch it open really wide as well as the hinges, and they're able to really swallow large prey. I just love the way she cautiously inspects her environment by flicking her tongue out and moving very, very calmly through this place. Very, very cool. A healthy snake is always going to be flicking its tongue out. That's one indicator of a nice, healthy snake. And she recently shed, so she's looking extremely beautiful here today, if you ask me. In the wild, these animals are found in Southeast Asia, and they're actually found close to human beings. So these are animals that will wander into villages because people keep chickens and small mammals like cats. Also, rodents are attracted to human settlements, and these animals will find themselves coming in contact with human beings. Now, a wild Burmese python is not a snake to be trifled with. They have very sharp teeth. Once they lock on with their teeth, they'll then throw that heavy body around you, and they will constrict. And if you're a small enough human being, it is possible they would view you as a prey item. But most of the time, these animals want nothing to do with human beings, as we aren't necessarily on the menu. I'll tell you what, she's having a good time exploring on land. Let us take a dip and see what's going on with some of the fish here in the pond. How magical is this backyard pond, man? This is incredible. Look at all the cichlids. These guys have been in this pond almost 1 full year. And in 1 year, I truly have an amazing ecosystem. We've got many different species, and I gotta shout out my friend Paul Radice from Angel's Hatchery. He really knew what he was doing when he
gave me which animals to start to populate the pond with first. Oh man, we've got the Boise right there, beautiful. I love those guys, they love eating the algae off the rocks, but how about that little tiny frontosa right there with the stripes? I have 7 of these, and these are gonna become pretty much the centerpiece of this pond when they get really large. I love looking around in here, it's incredible. We got red empress, we've got Mangamo. I always say that messed up, but what are you gonna do? I'm a reptile guy. I just truly love these aquatic creatures here. Hey, you know what? Speaking of aquatic creatures, I want to check the deck because I do have a brown water snake that hangs out there. Let's see if he's around. He likes to hide underneath the deck, but not there, which will make Kate very happy because she gets a little nervous when she thinks there's a snake underneath her while she's sunbathing. Anyhow, back in the pond. Love what's happening. Look, there's a beautiful insignis, one of the metallic varieties of cichlids. Oh yeah, so if you're ever in need of some really cool cichlids, you got to check out my buddy Paul and Angel's Hatchery. He really hooked this place up. There's nothing better than actually being in here this close to such a large animal, a large snake, and she's so perfect. This is truly one of my favorite critters. I'm so glad that I'm able to work with her. What do you guys think? Do you like her? I can't wait to get her enclosure built. And don't worry, I've actually been working on a lot of enclosures. Videos will be coming soon. How about it? You're in a good mood, right, babe? I think she might be hungry. Hope my shaved head doesn't look like some kind of fuzzy. Well, there you have it, everybody. A fun day with my snake. It's fun to play with my snake a little bit, don't you think? All right, well, we're gonna let her continue to crawl around. I'm gonna get out of this wetsuit, and then I'm gonna clean her enclosure, put her back. But thanks so much for joining me today. Hope you guys had fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share the videos if you get something out of them. Really enjoy learning something with these animals, and I hope you guys do too. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.